I think you want to know about healthy children, because healthy children are what makes our community a special place to be. And as people of faith, we are committed to having children who are loved and affirmed. On Austin Faith Dialogue, we're going to tell you about a Healthy Children project. So please stay with us on Austin Faith Dialogue.
Austin Faith Dialogue, at the crossroads of religion and life. A series highlighting the cultural and social interactions between the worshiping and religious communities in and around the capital city. Austin Faith Dialogue is brought to you by the Austin Metropolitan Ministries in cooperation with KXAN. Join us now in Austin Faith Dialogue.
Thank you for being with us. My name is Carl Gronberg. I'm host for the program, and we're delighted that you join us to discuss one of the most important issues that your faith community and our community at large can talk about. And we invite you to be in the dialogue on this day and this program. We want to talk about children and how we can nurture them and how they can be healthy, and to give them every opportunity. And there's a group of women of faith who are committed to this project. I want you to meet a couple of them. Lib Harris, welcome, from Church Women United. And Debbie McKean, welcome. Glad to have you with us too. Another woman of faith, a young woman of faith,
yes,
who has come to join us on Austin Faith Dialogue. We're going to talk with Lib and Debbie about Church Women United. We're also going to talk about a project you all have regarding healthy children. And then we're going to invite people who are watching Austin Faith Dialogue, and we have the very best people in the community watching Austin Faith Dialogue. We're going to invite them to come and participate with you in supporting this project for healthy children. Lib, first of all, Church Women United. We're revisiting this. You were with me on Austin Faith Dialogue, and we talked about it, a year or so ago. Tell me a little bit about what you think is important about Austin Faith Dialogue and also about Church Women United.
Well, I'm a regular watcher of Austin Faith Dialogue.
You had told me that, so I want to get that plug in, so thanks.
And I'm glad to be on again to tell you again or a little bit more about Church Women United, because we have an inspiring past. One of the things that drew me into Church Women United is some of our distinctive elements. We do, and what we're going to talk about today is our tradition is to have a benefit every year for some project that we have decided, or several projects. It's very important. We don't raise money for our own budget. It's always a benefit, and this year it's especially inspiring because women all over Texas, Church Women in Texas, are working on this project about children.
Church Women United is an ecumenical organization?
Ecumenical organization. We were begun the very year that, the very week of Pearl Harbor in 1941. Women had come together in Atlantic City. Women from 70 communions, 10 million women were represented to create Church Women United.
The week of Pearl Harbor, December 7, 1941, Pearl Harbor. So you've been at this for a few years, huh?
And
you personally?
No, but I've been at it for a while, and one of the distinctive things about us is our diversity of denomination. We have 13 denominations in Church Women United in Austin, and about 75 congregations. And our history is from before the time of integration. That was one of the important features of Church Women United. When it was illegal in some places to have an integrated meeting, Church Women United worked it out. And even I think one of the things that's interesting is in 1945, just 4 years after they were brought, they came together, 3 different women's mission groups came together to create Church Women United.
3 different denominations, is that right?
Well, they were traditions, kind of a home missions and foreign missions group and a World Day of Prayer group. World Day of Prayer had been happening a long time.
You know, I'm a believer in women. How about that?
I'm so glad.
A true confession on television, that's right. And one of the reasons is because I think the faith communities are really nurtured and supported. My faith tradition as a Christian, women have been just leaders. And my denomination as a Lutheran, women have been leaders. And I think it's so important that we highlight on Austin Faith Dialogue regularly the work of Church Women United, so that those people of faith who watch this program and those who are not people of faith who watch this program might know that there are people, women of faith like you, Lib, and you, Debbie, who are committed to making life better. Now, Debbie, you're a young woman, and you haven't been involved always in Church Women United. What attracted you to this organization?
I can tell you, quite frankly, I got involved in this through a gal by the name of Virginia Franke, who is someone who is very dear to my heart, who I have known and grown up with through First English Lutheran, where I have been since I was, oh good grief, 12 years old? Long time ago. We won't go there, how far ago that was. And what happened was Jenna called me and asked if I had some spare time, basically, on a volunteer basis, and if I could get involved with United. And my first question was, of course, exactly what you asked Lib. I wanted to know what they are, what they do, what their focus is. And she gave me a response that was quite succinct. And in that little snippet inspired me to go ahead and jump in with both feet and get involved. And I've been working with these gals.
That says something about you, I think, Debbie, because you'd respond that way because you grew up in a faith community.
Yes.
And you know, I think, Lib, I think Church Women United doesn't toot your horn enough. I think that there are a lot of people in our respective congregational communities who don't know enough about Church Women United, and I'm not sure I have an answer how that can change other than coming back regularly and having a program on Austin Faith Dialogue. But I don't know, in the local congregations, because you do have an amazing group of women who gather together of a variety of ethnicities.
Right.
And I think, as you mentioned, that's very important for the community of faith. When you hear the story of Debbie, this young woman, and it really has to do with somebody inviting her.
Right.
Inviting you to come and be a part of it. Lib, what do you think could be done to get the word out to more young women to come and be a part so that this Church Women United organization that brings a lot of gifts to our community can continue to go on?
Well, we've been making an effort to have our celebrations. We have 3 celebrations a year. World Day of Prayer and May Fellowship Day and World Community Day, and then forums in the meantime. The forums we are not having at a convenient time for employed women, but we have our celebrations both on first Friday mornings and on a Tuesday night after that, so that if people have the time and the energy, they can come.
And maybe the vision, as Debbie said, that this is something you decided in your very busy schedule as a wife and a mother and professional and all the things that you've done in your life and are doing, to say, yeah. And I think Jenna maybe did the right thing by saying, do you have some time to be a part of this organization?
Sure, and it's, you know, it all goes back to, she knew how involved I was growing up in my church. And finally now, as a bit more mature woman, you're able to find an opportunity to give back. I mean, they were there for me all of that time that I was growing up, and I view this as a venue and a way for me to say, I appreciate that you were there. You made a difference in my life, and this is a way that I can do it through this organization.
Now, Church Women United not only does the ecumenical thing and pulling people together for World Day of Prayer, and the women of our congregation come back and they always bring these programs, and the programs may be written by women of a country halfway around the world. So it's a very exciting exposure to be aware of the faith community that is in different places other than Austin, Texas. But it also seems to me that you said you do other projects, and you've selected a project to hold up in front of the Austin community. What is the project? We talked about healthy children.
Healthy children. We're aiming to make the lives of children from birth to 3 better. And we had a forum just in February in which Debbie's sister-in-law informed us, I know some of it is quite recent research, about what happens in children's brains during those years.
From infancy to 3 years of age.
And it's just really inspiring to think what can happen, and a little disturbing to think what doesn't happen in the way of stimulation. And
you know, I know we have a crisis in the country regarding the nurturing of children, and that many of the modes of family life that we've been accustomed to when I was a kid have changed, and the expressions of relationships are different. But it seems to me there's a lot of good stuff going on too. That there are a lot of families that are working very hard, but they tend to be very busy. And if you are both out working and to be able to find time to do this type of thing. Why did you select this project to be something special that we're going to tell and invite people to attend? Why was it so important for you as a organization of women to just kind of focus in on healthy children, healthy and happy children, I think?
Probably, I would say, because it's the one thing that for the women that are involved in this from a statewide perspective, it can't be any more dear to your heart. Mm-hmm. It's a subject that there isn't anything that can be more important than raising happy, healthy, well-balanced children. Mm-hmm. I have 2 children myself, so the initiative of the Healthy Infant Project is something that's just near and dear. Mm-hmm. And so focusing all of these efforts on this particular project, we actually decided in the Austin community to come up with a fundraising event, which is something that we're doing specifically here. And we're going to be focusing on inviting people in the community to an afternoon tea, a ladies' tea. We decided to go back to maybe an old-fashioned concept of afternoon tea. The event itself is going to be held on Sunday, April 22nd, from 3 to 5 in the afternoon. And what we're doing, we're inviting people to come have tea with us, to come have cookies. We're going to have some entertainment. We're going to have a gal who's going to be playing the violin. We're going to have a vintage clothing style show, which I think is going to be lovely. The clothing, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it.
My granddaughter came over and tried on my wedding dress and some other dresses that I have in my closet from the 40s.
Yeah.
She's going to model them, and she likes the
Your
idea.
granddaughter's going to do this?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And there'll be other granddaughters and other models.
Yeah. So we just tried to come up with something that we thought would be a fun activity that we can get women to come to and enjoy and spend some time with us. And of course, ultimately, what we're trying to do here is raise funds. So we are asking for a donation as far as the tickets themselves. They're $10 a piece. What I really wanted to bring to the forefront in this conversation is what we would like to do with the money.
All right, well, let's talk about that when we come back.
That'd be great.
And we hope that you'll come back with us. And I know sometimes we think, oh, they're going to talk about money, but money is a means to an end. So don't leave us on Austin Faith Dialogue. Stay with us for the second half of our program, and we'll talk about what this money is going to do to help make children happy and healthy. Back to Austin Faith Dialogue. We're talking today about happy and healthy children, and I know that you are interested in children, and we have a marvelous faith organization in this community called Church Women United. And if you've been with us as a regular viewer of this program, well, you've heard of Church Women United before. They've been with me on the program, and if you're not a regular viewer of Austin Faith Dialogue, I want to tell you that we have this organization, and these 2 women of faith, Lib and Debbie, are telling us a little bit about what they believe is important. And Debbie, you were talking about being a mother and that you have 2 children. I know something about your mom and dad. They did a good job. They raised a young woman that is a lot of life and charisma. And you talked to me a little bit about your experience about how you, you worked out in the world. You were doing professional type stuff, working for a company. And talk a little bit about children coming into your life.
Yeah, I started down that road, the career path that two-income household, no children. Found myself at Microsoft for about a 10-year career. Incredible. One of the things, or one of the skill sets that I acquired there, I used to do event planning, pull together seminars and things like that.
Hey, Liv, this is perfect. Maybe
Yeah,
you should
no,
have this project, this event for Church of United.
Well, that was Jenna.
And that was
Frankie
the
knew what she's
idea.
talking about.
Yeah.
Together, yeah.
She knew that I had that expertise, which is one of the reasons why they have asked me to be the project chair for this particular fundraiser. So it becomes second nature to me for two reasons. One, because I do have some experience when it comes to planning events. And secondly, because when you're planning an event that benefits children and being a mother, it's a perfect fit. Feels great.
Yeah. And you like being a mother?
Anyone, if there's anyone who happens to see this show who actually knows me from younger, I swore I would never have children.
Oh, wow.
Would never have children.
What a testimonial.
And-
here we have it on Austin Faith Dialogue. Here we go. And your life has changed.
Life has changed. Life has never been sweeter. Life has never been sweeter.
And your children
You
are how
just-
old?
5 and 15 months.
And their names are?
Alec and Caitlin.
Okay, Alec and
yeah,
Caitlin.
yeah,
And they brought so much joy. And part of
Absolutely.
that joy that you want for them to have is what you want for other children. Because
It
the
is.
reality is that we want to encourage children. And was it your sister-in-law who's talking about from birth to 3?
Yeah, she was just emphasizing the fact, she had just gone out of training and she's now an RN working as a pediatric nurse, and was emphasizing that when they are so little, the actual development that takes place in their brain, the synapses that are being formed, are critical at a really, really young age to do things like read to your children every day.
And so how does this kind of scenario that you've described, Lib, how does this tie in with Church Women United and the project you have? Church Women United is going to have this tea. It's going to be on April the 22nd, which is, I remind you, the second Sunday in the Easter Festival. So good timing,
Right.
you all. That's great. A real celebration can be held. It's from 3 to 5. Shepherd of the Hills Lutheran on Bee Caves, right?
Yes.
Okay, what are you going to do? You hope to get some people to come. You hope that they'll come and have some tea, right? And watch the fashion show. That sounds
Vintage
like
fashion show.
vintage.
Right.
I'm sorry, Liv. Vintage fashion show
distinctive.
with that's distinctive.
Right.
And then you're going to hopefully raise some funds. Now we
Right.
promise that we're going to say a little bit about what's going to happen with those funds. So what are you going to do
Right.
when you get these hundreds of people out there?
That's right. We are very, very excited about what we're going to do with the funds. We have come up with a partnership with KLRU in 2 capacities. The first one is they have a reading workshop program that they do in conjunction with the Austin Public Library. And what they do is they target specifically families with young children that are low income, low literacy, and low English speaking families. They bring them together to these reading workshops. They read a book to them. And what we will be doing with the funds that we raise, we will be purchasing the book that they're reading, whether it's Go Dogs Go or some wonderful thing like that. And when they leave that particular workshop, each family will take the book with them. So what we're trying to do is take the funds, purchase something that a little person can have in their hand when they go home after this experience,
This
which
will
we
be
hope
their
is a
own book.
wonderful, their own book to keep and hopefully to read every night then, at bedtime or whatever the case may be. So that's one way that we're partnering with KLRU. There is a second way that we are doing that. They also have created it's called the Raising Healthy, Happy Children calendar.
Oh.
Now, it's beautiful, beautifully done. And this particular calendar has a multitude of information in here as far as agencies that families can go to, telephone numbers that they can call for help or direction, whatever the case may be. And what we're doing is working with them on this calendar. We're helping them with printing costs so that we can get that distributed to these families as well through their program.
Lib, you guys are doing some real practical things. A book for a child, and also the calendar to assist these parents and encourage them. Now, you're a mother, right? Okay. You see that, Debbie?
grandmother.
Yeah. Reading. I'm going to ask Debbie this question as a young mother, but I want to ask you
Yeah.
first of all, when your kids were little, why was reading, was it fun? Did you enjoy reading to your children?
That was one thing that I feel the very best about. I read to my children every day in the afternoon and at night 'cause I was at home. And I knew that was important.
Lib, you told me before we went on the air that I was not supposed to brag about your husband, the Right Reverend William Harris. Wonderful man that he is.
He is.
But you, mother, you really enjoyed being a mother, right? You enjoyed reading to those children
Yeah, I
and
enjoyed
sharing
that
time.
most of all.
I can
And I
see it.
really would love to have had, as I understand it, the calendar has some clues about what you can expect
It
at different
does.
times.
It gives
I would
them
have loved having
benchmarks.
that when my
Sure.
children were little.
Sure.
I knew very little about what was going on in their brains.
Yes.
Came out. We came out all right. But
Yeah, I'm sure they came out
it
all
would have
right.
been interesting, and it would have been very helpful to me to
Informative.
have known all that. And somehow we're going to put these in the hands of new mothers.
That's right.
The information that I got said it's going to be a one-to-one presentation.
is.
I don't know how
That's-
that's going to be worked out, but I like that idea.
I can tell you like that idea. Yeah, Debbie, do you like
Yeah.
that idea?
Yeah, no, I was going to say that's one of the things that I think KLRU does particularly well when it comes to programs like this. It comes under the auspice of their Ready to Learn program, which is a very large umbrella. There's several programs that fall under that. But one of the things that's important to them is that it's face-to-face. They're not being mailed to a massive mailing list. They're face-to-face. Parents come in seeking assistance in some capacity, and this is the type of thing they're given. But
Will they
it's-
come to KLRU? Is that what you're saying?
there
Where would-
are various workshops and agencies through KLRU that they actually can go to, and that's how they acquire this type thing. But it's important that it's face to face, that you're actually giving it to them and saying, let me point out to you on page 3, what happens with your little person when they're only 3 months old and you're reading to them, and maybe potentially what's happening by the time they're 3 years old, and it gives them benchmarks, as you were
And
mentioning.
it's going to be printed in Spanish and English.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Great point. Yeah, it is, Lib.
So it'll be
which will-
bilingual?
Be very
Yes.
helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lib, why are you excited as a member of Church Women United that you have this collaborative effort between Church Women United, which is a faith-based community of women, and KLRU? Why is that important to you?
Well,
To me, it says
part of our
something.
tradition of Church Women United is to form coalitions to try to be in collaboration with other people in the community with whom we have common caring and interest. I'd like to read just this very short little thing about who we are as Church Women United.
Go ahead.
We are biblically based through our shared Christian faith, gifted by our diversity of race, economics, age, culture, and theology, called by the Holy Spirit to act for justice on behalf of women and children. That's been part of our tradition.
It's a great statement. But this event that's going to be held at Shepherd of the Hills Lutheran is not simply for Christian people.
No.
Is that correct?
That's right.
This is an effort to invite the entire community,
Absolutely.
whatever faith walk people have, to come, because the rumor is out that people, no matter what their faith might be, love kids.
That's right.
And that Christians may not have a corner on that market. Is that right?
And we're
Yeah,
not in the business of being exclusive. We're in the business of being
Yeah.
inclusive.
That's right.
And we have all the time of our history.
In that inclusivity, you're saying to people who have a different faith than you have, please come and be a part of this to support the community.
And just one more little plug for Church Women United. I know women through Church Women United that I would never have met if we hadn't had our celebrations that bridged neighborhoods and they bridged denominations. It's just
And I'm going to tell you
very
a story
inspiring.
that it is inspiring, and you two are inspiring to me because you represent that which I think is the very best of the faith communities. Women who are committed to family, to community at large, and to your congregational efforts and ministries. This reading thing is so important. I remember my third grade teacher who worked with me very, very hard to help me to read. And that was so important. I didn't realize until I went on in life how crucial that is. And we get lots of people come in looking for help in our particular community because of our location. And I received a letter last week from a fellow who's in jail. And we had helped him. And he sent this letter, and I ended up, as I told the congregation, I had to go visit him, and I did. And it just so touched me because it was obvious how he struggles to read and to write, and how important it is for us to be committed to helping children and parents at a very early age. Debbie, we just have a couple minutes left. Talk just a little bit in closing about those things that are important. How can people support this project? Now, it's April 22nd,
Right.
okay, from 3 to 5, Shepherd Hills Lutheran. If people
Right.
want to know more about it, how do they get that information?
We have a gal who's been a longtime member of Church Women United. We've mentioned her earlier. That's Virginia Franke. She has been kind enough to offer her telephone number as a reference point for anyone who would like information about it, would like to receive tickets, would like to give a donation. Her telephone number is 452-0414.
And these are wonderful people of faith. So I think when you say her husband's name is Pastor Merle Franke.
That's right.
And so if people are looking up, and if they didn't get that telephone number, they can look it up in the book and see Pastor, I don't know if it's a tab, but Merle Franke,
Right.
Merle and Virginia Franke.
Absolutely.
And then they can come in groups from congregations or faith communities. They can come together, right? Now, is
Yes.
it exclusive for women?
No.
Think that
I
men
know
might
my
enjoy-
husband's going to come to see his granddaughter model.
I don't blame you. And knowing Bill Harris, he'd just like to come anyway, right? He would like to see that happen. That sounds
Yeah.
good. So men are also invited to come
Absolutely.
and
We'd love
to
to have them.
participate in that.
Yes.
You're a young woman who's taken over leadership in Church Women United for this project. What have you received in becoming a part, accepting Jenna Franke's invitation? What have you learned, Debbie, in these few months that you've been a part of it?
I will tell you, I was having dinner with my father last night, and I was talking about this organization. That one of the things I have been absolutely overwhelmed is the acceptance. You know, in the sense that just coming up to me and saying, we're happy you're here. Who are you? What do you do? And just embracing me. And I'm finding that, of course, kind of a little bit of an older generation, if you will, they are
We really
so
are.
willing to help. I mean, I'm finding as I'm asking for volunteers to
ours.
help, I mean, I have help from all sides. So it's easy to be a project chair when you get that kind of help.
And you will have that help, but you bring something also. And we'd like to encourage other young women like you to check into
Absolutely.
Church Women United and faith-based communities and be involved in their congregational expressions of faith. I want to thank both of you. Lib, good to have you back. Let's make a contract. Maybe we'll get Peggy to come sometime. Think we
I
get
hope
Peggy on this
so.
program?
And Ann.
And Ann, that's right. We'll see if we can't get them.
And Betty Washington.
There you go. Let's invite them all, and they'll come
And
back.
Benny.
That doesn't mean, Debbie, that you can't come, but also thank you for being a
you.
part of it. And there was one who said, "Let the little children come unto me and forbid them not, for such is the kingdom of God." Let's make certain that our children are happy and healthy. Thanks for being with us on Austin Faith Dialogue. Peace be with you and yours.